Hi! Welcome to my channel. My name is Shannon and this is my Knitter's Life series on my Whiskyandwool channel. I'm going to do something a little different today. I hope you're up for trying something new. So yeah, I'm not going to do my usual knitting update, and if you're looking for updates from my last podcast, my last episode, episode 6, I will be doing episode 7, an update video, next week. So, but today, instead, I want to do something different, and I am going to, I don't know what I'm going to call this exactly, but it's basically cast on with me. I want to go through, I have a new cast on I want to make. I have the yarn, I've got the needles. I'm going to talk you through what I'm doing, and I just thought, I would cast on with you and share with you the process of, this is like true process sharing, I suppose, but also kind of, there'll be some lulls, some downtime when I'm counting and stuff like that, and there'll be like music in the background, and my thought was that you might also want to sit and knit or craft, do some other type of crafting while you watch, and we'll just keep each other company. And I just thought it would be fun to do this. And I think what I'm going to do is every time I cast on a new project, which isn't very often, it's probably once every couple months, I'll do one of these types of videos. The only thing I'm undecided on is, do I make this a different series? So instead of Knitter's Life, this will be like Cast On With Me series that then gets its own playlist. Or, yeah, I think so. I was trying to figure all that out, and I was going to tell you to let me know what you think down in the comments. But by the time you see this, I probably will have made some decisions, so you could just let me know if you think there's a different way. I can always reconfigure the whole thing in the next round. So I'm going to catch you up a little bit on what's been going on in my life. And I don't know, we'll sit and knit and chat, and have a little chat and just, we'll see where it goes. So, let me show you what I'm making. I'm actually going to put the picture on screen. Because the picture on the pattern, first of all, I printed the pattern in black and white. It's not that good of a view of the sweater, but it's called Sunshine on My Shoulders Pullover, and the designer's name is not on the pattern. Mama made it from yarn, it says. It's a pattern from 2022. I'll have the designer's name on screen. I know she has a first and last name. It's not just that handle. But anyway, I am going to start this. This is a pattern that is knit in the round, but it has intarsia. And so I have never done intarsia in the round. I've done intarsia sweaters before, but not in the round. And yeah, so this will be an adventure. What I can tell you is that the way the designer, I'm going to just show you this picture here. The way that the designer designed the fit, that's too close for me. Like I want more positive ease, and more like this picture here of one, I don't know whether this was a tester or someone who did the pattern separately, like whatever, and she just grabbed the project page, but this purple version has much more positive ease, and I like that better. And I also want the sweater to be a little longer than where she has it. So I've done some calculations on all of that. Like, there's not really a spec in the pattern. The sizes do go from bust 28 up to 60 inches, designed for 0 ease. So I'm going to add ease. I did swatch. So these are some of the colors I'm using. I'm actually just using these 3. These 2 I've since replaced with brighter versions of themselves. So a brighter pink and a brighter yellow. And this is going to be the sun in the front, that yellow. So yeah, I've already swatched. I know how I match gauge. I'm not matching well as usual. Like, I'm off. I have, I figured out that size 3 will give me about 4 inches of positive ease, and size 4 will give me 8 inches of positive ease. So I think I'm gonna go with size 3. So I think 4 inches will be good for me. And then I am gonna make it longer. So I have I took a sweater that a fit that I like of a sweater, and I've kind of figured out what I should be doing. Because the thing is, like with those stripes, it's bottom up. You start down here with the rib, and I don't know if you can tell, but like they're uneven. So this is only about 2 inches, and then the next one is like 5 inches, and then it's 2 inches, and then 5 inches. So I'm just gonna knit longer with the dark color. I just need to save a little bit for the cuffs, the sleeve cuffs. So I'm gonna knit more with this to make it longer to start, and then I don't know, I'll just kind of figure it out. I did write myself some notes, a bit of a roadmap for all of that, but I don't know. I'm gonna kind of just, see how it goes. So what's gonna happen right now is I'm gonna cast on, and and then this sweater will go into, this project will then be part of what I normally update you on. I do want to spend a minute to talk about the yarn I have. So this is a total of, I can't remember how many colors. So many colors. I think it's 8 colors, 9 colors. This sweater's a total of 9 colors. Sorry, not 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was counting down. 9 sizes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 colors. And the pattern does give you a nice chart by size of how much yardage you need for each one. So I knew I was going to make this a bit bigger. So I kind of just ballpark, kind of landed in the middle with the sizing, knowing that I was going to make like probably in the 4 to 5 range. That was how I planned my yardage. And it's, you're designing a sunset sort of thing. You obviously, like if you look at project pages, you can see how different everything, everyone's where it was. And I got excited about this because, one, I really, really like the concept, the sunset sort of 1970s vibe pattern. But also I realized that I had a lot of this yarn in stash that I could actually use. So like all 5 of these were colors that I have in my stash. And it turns out I'm not going to use these 2 because when I was shopping for the other 3 colors, I found that it wasn't really giving me the color charge that I wanted. I needed to go a little brighter. I talked a little bit about this because this yarn, especially the one that I'm going to cast on with, I bought the remaining skeins of yarn at Vogue Knitting Live at the end of January. So my Vogue Knitting Live recap video, I talked a little bit about the process of like figuring out the colors. So I'm not going to spend time doing that right now. But so you get the picture. Well, the thumbnail for this is all of the colors. But what I'm going to be doing, this is the pink that replaced the light pink. What I'll be doing is the first 3 colors will be these 3. So so I'll be casting on with this dark one. And the dark one is a yarn called Symfonie. One of them is, I'm not sure which is which. I think this is Emerald Sea, this one. I think the other one is Peacock Green. But anyway, this is the info tag. Oh, this is Peacock Green. You can see the dab of yarn there. That's the info tag. It's an a Knit Pro yarn, 100% merino superwash, DK weight. So this sweater's a DK weight sweater. And yeah, I think that's all I need to say about that. My cast on stitches are, I think it's 216 stitches. And then I do 1x1 rib for a while, for about 2 inches or so. Well, let me find, oh yeah, here it is, cast on. Right, yeah, so 216 stitches is what I'm going to be casting on for that 44-inch finished bust, which will give me 4 inches of positive ease. Yeah, so let's get going. When I knit from the bottom up, I like to do long tail cast on, and the rule of thumb is that you need 3 times the length that you're doing. So I usually just kind of figure out like just kind of eyeball it. I'm not really that specific with it. And you know, I have done this before where I've run out of yarn and had to pull it all back, pull it all out. So I'm hoping that won't happen. So yeah, anyway, if you don't use long tail cast on, I can talk to you about why it's my preferred cast on. I'd be interested to know. I know that like there's preferred cast ons for like every knitter probably has their own preferred cast on. And I like long tail cast on because it's generally not 100% invisible, but it's pretty invisible. And then the other thing I like about it is that you're creating, when you do straight long tail cast on, just regular one, you're creating knit stitches on the needle as your cast on, so it doesn't coil around your needle the way like some of the other cast ons do. And I have one of my cats is right in front of me. I'm sure he's gonna leap over here in a minute. So you'll get a glimpse of him, but he's very interested in what I'm doing with this yarn. So anyway, when I'm doing a rib stitch, I do alternating long tail cast on so that you create a knit stitch and a purl stitch, and then it looks pretty, not completely invisible, but it looks more invisible than if you did all long tail cast on. I have a big glob of yarn ends in my lap. All right, so I start with the slip knot and I call that a knit stitch. So my next stitch will be a purl stitch. And if you've ever done long tail cast on, this isn't going to be a tutorial by any stretch of the imagination, but if you've done long tail, you do the slingshot where you've got the 2 ends there and you hold it like that, and then you make a loop, like a crisscrossing loop, to do the knit stitch. The purl stitch, you're doing the crisscrossing stitch on the other side. It's that simple. So I'll just keep going here. Very curious cat at my feet. He's just so curious about this whole process. So one of the things that does happen when you do long tail cast on is that your yarn gets a little bit of a twist. And what I'll do at some point, and this is just a little over 200 stitches. But what I'll do at some point, if I'm doing a lot of stitches, is I'll stop and unwind that twist. And also what I'm going to do, what I like to do is once I hit 50 stitches, I put a stitch marker in, just to make the counting of the stitches less, less time consuming. So I haven't been keeping count at all because I'm busy talking and watching things happen. Forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. I am wearing the Throwback cardigan. I get the two mixed up. One's a pullover, which I think is the throw over, and the other one is a cardigan. I'm pretty sure it's Throwback. So it's got these little zigzag motifs. And I made this version in sport weight. The pattern is written, I think, for worsted weight. But I was stubborn and wanted to use yarn I had, and I had purchased this pretty, like, mauve, I guess, color. I had purchased this at Edinburgh Yarn Festival. I bought it in the Usolda booth. I don't remember exactly the details about it, but it's like a pretty rustic yarn. Like, it's got a prickle factor. It's soft, but there's definitely like a crispness to the hand. And I just wanted to use something I had when I was knitting that pattern. And oh my god, this cat. Just so you can get an idea of what I'm dealing with. They can't see you, they can only see your paw. Anyway, alright, I'm gonna do a little quick count here. I have 52. So I'm just taking a little light bulb marker and I'm gonna just stick that between 50 and 51. So I have an easy count. Okay, so 50. Let's see if I can remember. Do I do a knit stitch or a purl stitch? 51 knit, 52 purl, so this next one's a knit stitch. Okay, got another 50. I should say too, for this long tail, doing a knit and a purl, it's called alternate long tail. I thought I invented it, and then I looked online and I found that it actually was called something, because long tail, not alternate, is just you're making all knit stitches. And when I first learned how to do long tail, and I realized that that you were making a knit stitch on the needle, and you can see like they don't curl. And so that was like, wow, that's really cool. I don't have to worry about, the knits, my cast on row, spinning around the needle like it does. And then I thought to myself, there's got to be a way to do purl stitches, right? I probably just have to do, and I experimented a bit, and then I figured it out, and then I was like, oh, I think I invented something. But then I looked and I was like, yeah, okay, someone else got there before me. Okay, anyway, I've got 100 stitches now, so I'm gonna do my next 50. Trouble downstream. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start over. Not over the whole thing, but those last 4 stitches, my light bulb marker got tangled up in them, and they're gonna change the tension. So, alright, so I just undid that. Let's start over. Check 2, 4, 6. Okay. You are so annoying. Alright, I lost count. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna now need to go count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. Okay. Another 50. Alright, I have 150. Yay. 150 stitches so far. I was gonna say too, I want to spend time just telling you too what part of the inspiration for this is. That one, my 3 sweaters that I've had on the needle since, one since New Year's Day, and the other one since Vogue Knitting Live, like beginning of February, and the third one since like March, early March. They're all dragging along. I don't have any finished objects. So I thought I might I've really been itching to cast on this project. And I thought, I have no business casting on something new when I have 3 sweaters that are kind of pooping along. And not, 2 of them are close to being finished. I have, I'm working on the sleeves on 2 of them. And the third is, I'm pretty close to binding off. Like, I'm probably a few inches from binding off the bottom, and then those I'll also be on the sleeves for that one. But I just thought, like, sometimes taking a break from projects that seem to be dragging, for me anyway, I find it very refreshing to just like take a little break, do something different, either cast on a new project or cast on something, a fast project like a hat, or a quick scrappy project or something like that, and just like kind of infuse some energy and interest back into my knitting. Like, in my head I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I have to show Scottish check again. It's now been 3 months on the needles. I'm probably not going to finish it before, I probably won't even finish the sweater by next week if I make my full episode next week, which I'm planning to. So and I'm just like, oh my god, can't remember the last time it took me 4 months to make a sweater. But, that sweater, and I know it's probably just me. I was thinking like, oh, it's probably just me who's bothered by this. Everyone else doesn't care, or they're just like interested in hearing me talk about it. I hope anyway. So, but wow, I'm like really just ready for that project to be done, I guess is a good way to put it. I lost count, so I'm going to recount. Actually, you know what? I don't know whether I'm on a knit or a purl, so it is important that I count. 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay, I'm on a purl rather. go, 50. Now I just need to do 16 more stitches to reach the total that I need, and I still have quite a long tail left. This is the tail on this end. This side is attached to the ball of yarn. I'm going to just do those quickly. Okay, I'm done. 216 stitches. There you go. And hopefully you can see. Can you see the knits and pearls? You can see the little pearl bumps. You can see cat hair too. There you go. Pretty cool, right? I love this cast on. I know a lot of people do tubular cast on. That's just too fiddly for me, especially when I'm casting on a lot of stitches, like more than 200. Now what I'll do with the tail, I'll trim it. Well, I'm not going to trim it yet. I'm going to start knitting in the round. And so this pattern has you knit a 1x1 rib for my size. It is 2 1/4 to 2.5 inches. And then I'm meant to change to the lighter green, but I'm going to keep going for a while with this green. I made myself a note in the recipe that I think, I just did the recipe. Stop eating it, buddy. Yeah, there you go. Now you can see him. He's been like just hanging around. I did not know I was also entertaining him. I don't let him eat the yarn because it is dangerous for them. Even though it's superwash, it's superwash, it's got plastic on it, but wool is digestible for cats. I prefer they don't get into the habit of eating my yarn. But I am glad to give him a little entertainment. Oh, and I should say too, this t-shirt is from New York Sheep and Wool, so Sheep and Wool. I got it from Shelli.can many years ago, like probably 2018 or 2017, something like that. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm knitting 4 inches total, so 2.5 of the rib, and then I'll switch to stockinette and I'll go to a bigger needle. The needles, I don't think I told you the size. So the body is knit in size 6, US size 6, which I think is a 4.0 millimeters, and the rib is a US size 4, 3.5 millimeters. All right, let's get this joined in the round. So this is, I always find this like such a tricky part of knitting this. Like, I have a 32-inch needle, which for the rib, that should be about, it should be more than enough, but it always feels like from the cast on, it always just feels tight. That first round is a little snug on the needle. So I just want to inch up the first stitches that I cast on. I want to just get them stretched all the way around this needle. I could circumvent some of the stretching by just going to a 20-inch or 22-inch, 24-inch needle, but this should work. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and trim this tail. So that I don't have such a long tail to deal with. So was alternate long tail cast on a new cast on for you? Like, have you done it yourself? What cast on do you like to use? For many years, I used backwards loop cast on for everything. Like when I first learned how to knit, I taught myself how to knit. My mom knew how to knit. She's a lefty and she thought lefties knit differently from righties. I'm a righty, and she just never thought she could teach us. Like, she ended up teaching my sister the very bare bones basics, but I guess it was a struggle. I don't know. I was too young at that point. All right, I've trimmed my very long tail. I do have a little bit of like pigtailing happening in my full skein, so I'm just gonna drop the needle down and let this unwind a bit. Cat's gonna love it. Oh my god. Okay. All right, enough. Okay. So now what I'll do is that slip knot will be my knit stitch. But I am gonna weave in my now shortened tail as I go here. I've been watching other people's channels like you do, and it's interesting how many people are talking about their spring knitting inspirations and like things that they're planning to knit for the spring, and just their practices about spring and summer knitting, like what do they do, like, and talking a little bit about what they do. And I thought I'm not going to show you patterns and things like that, because if you want to see that, there are so many people out there. I just need to shift positions. There are so many people out there who do that type of thing, and they can be interesting, I think, but I think I made a decision a long time ago with my channel to really attempt to show, not tell. And what I mean by that is to, show you what I'm working on, and show you techniques, not tell you, not talk to you about things that I'm thinking about. And I always just figure when I might be excited about something and I might tease a little bit about it, but I'm not going to get into details about anything that I'm planning to work on before I actually start working on it. And that's just a conscious decision I've made about my channel and its content. But I would like to share with you, and perhaps you could share with me, your own practices for spring and summer knitting. Like, do you move away from knitting altogether? Does your knitting practice change at all? Some people stop completely in the summer because they just get busy with, life gets busier for them. There's more opportunity to be outside. I guess I'm talking to my northern hemisphere viewers right now. But southern hemisphere viewers, you're on the opposite train. You're going into your colder seasons now, so maybe you're getting excited about knitting. Who knows? But please share if you feel like it down in the comments. I don't change anything. I keep going with all my projects. I try not to knit hairy projects, so like mohair. I do have 2 mohair projects on the needles right now that they're the ones that I'm working on the sleeves. So I will avoid casting on something that's furry like mohair or Surrey silk blends. I'll steer clear of those because those can get pretty, like if your fingers get a little bit sweaty, and the way that I hold my yarn through my fingers, they'll just get sticky, and that's not a pleasant feeling. So I don't really, so I steer clear of those. But other than that, I just keep knitting projects. I have occasionally knit summer t-shirts, I guess. Short sleeve knits. I have occasionally been inspired by someone else's projects or a new design that might be out, and I'll knit those. And so I have a handful of them, but I find I don't really wear them. I'll wear short sleeve sweaters like this time of year in the early spring, but I won't wear those in the heat of summer. I switch, like wardrobe wise, I switch almost entirely to linen in the summer because I live in the New York City area. New York is right across the river from me, and it's very humid in this neighborhood, in this region of the country. and in the summertime, and I just don't want to I don't want to be sweaty. I feel like I sweat so much, especially I'm post-menopause. I'm in menopause, I guess. I guess not post-menopause. Post-menopause, you're dead, maybe? I don't know. But I'm in my menopause years, and I often feel hot and sweaty when other people don't feel hot and sweaty. So, but that doesn't keep me, I still keep going on my projects. I'm not a highly prolific, what I would consider a highly prolific knitter. I can be, like in the past, I've been able to knit more than one sweater a month. But I've kind of slowed down, not because of anything other than just other stuff, like, doing other things. I'm pretty much just, I'm someone who always has a knitting project with me. And I generally carry along a small project, even if I'm just driving somewhere, because I get fidgety. I feel fidgety when I don't have something to do. And even though, you could get on your phone and such, I find like it just helps me clear my mind, just like pull out a small project like a hat or some socks and just knit those. Do a couple rounds while I'm waiting for whatever it is that's got me feeling anxious or whatever. Here, I just need to spend some time shifting the stitches around because there's a hold up over here. I do really love long tail for the fact that I don't end up with those stitches just twisting around and around. Yes, knit. And also you can see right where you are because you can see the knit stitches and the purl stitches. But anyway, I just keep going with whatever it is, wool knits, because it is going to be cold again. And one of the other things about this region, I think I screwed up because I just ended with a knit stitch at the marker and it should be a purl stitch. So I'm going to take a moment to just see what's happening here. I cannot get enough of Beyonce's new album. Are you listening to it? I just have it on repeat. I love it so much. It was a nice surprise in that she did some covers, but she changed up the lyrics a bit. She did Blackbird and she did Jolene. And she has some original, of course, much, many original. Oh my gosh, the music's so good. It's just addictive. Little riffs and stuff in it. Okay, this is stretching out as far as it can go. Yeah, so anyway, several, like maybe a decade or more ago, I made the decision that I wasn't going to change up my knitting practice for the summertime. I used to find myself like sewing a little bit more in the summer months because I also like to wear dresses and skirts in the summer months, and so I was finding myself like making some summer skirts and dresses, and I do like to wear them, but I have a lot right now, so I have plenty. Once in a while I get inspired to make something. Like I would really like to make a pair of pants. I haven't made a pair of pants in ages, but I do really love to wear just like simple elastic waist, like baggy, almost beachwear style pants out of linen. I love to wear those. I have a couple pairs in the summertime. I wear those, and they're dressy enough I can wear them to the office without any trouble. So I've thought a lot about making some of those, but I always just end up wussing out and getting lazy and not doing that at all. And I'm really struggling getting the stitches to come around over here. Earlier today, I met up, I think I should say this before I wrap up things here. I met up with my friend Lorian, who you may know as Yarn Love Turtle, and some of her knitting friends from Connecticut. We met up at Yarnia in Montclair and had lunch at Bluestone Coffee House, which is right a couple doors down from Yarnia. It's really, really very nice, a nice place to eat, and very conveniently located near Yarnia. I ended up not buying anything. They had been on a little bit of a New Jersey yarn crawl. They went to Do You Knit's grand opening, but Do You Knit is another, like, and Yarnia is about 40 minutes from me, and Do You Knit's another like 35 minutes from me, so I ended up passing on that. But it was interesting. We were chatting about like how we buy yarn, and like, do we go to our local yarn shops or do we buy mostly online, or at festivals? And so I do buy at events like, New York Sheep and Wool, and I really prefer non-superwash yarns, generally speaking. Although I have to say, like, talking about spring knits, superwash is like an unsung hero for the more warm weather, because it's cooler on your body than a non-superwash. It doesn't feel quite as warm. So I love to wear superwash cardigans over my, light blouses and stuff that I'll wear in summertime. And yeah, a lot of them are indie dyed, so you can easily find some really beautiful colors and such. Yeah, I am making very slow progress on this first round here. I hope I did a good job explaining why I decided to try this. Well, one, I wanted to try something new, just like a new way of engaging with viewers, and two, I just didn't want to show you the same old things again and then again in another episode when they're actually finished. So I'm hoping that this buys me some time. And I do think, let me know what you think about this. If you enjoyed having this little cast on session with me. And it is definitely something that I will do again. And when I'm ready to cast on something else. And, these will be sporadic just based on when I'm casting something on. I hope you enjoyed the quiet moments too, where you could, get lost in your own thoughts and your own knitting. And do let me know if you have any questions if I didn't provide information on something, or if I will edit this, although I'm hoping that it'll be pretty light editing. But I will be, there may be breaks in the film, in the footage, just because I've edited out me, saying something or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're doing well, and I will be back in a week or so. My plan is to be back next week with my usual updates, and you'll get a gander at however much progress I've made on this sweater, as well as my other knits, my other whips, that hopefully I'll at least be converting one of those into a finished object. That would be lovely. But yeah, anyway, I hope you have a lovely week and weekend, rest of weekend, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.